A very high-profile VIP protectee. Obviously, there's a lot of security at his residence as well. So, if someone has tried to, create a hoax or, divert attention from what could be another attack or planted some bomb material outside the house, that in itself could be a security breach. Abhishek, is there going to be any further word from the police?
Well, certainly, and it's going to be a very big thing because it's not just about, security loophole, but also about the kind of information which they have got. As I said, that the teams have reached there, the ADG and other officials will certainly clarify and give their actual, version about the fact whether the information received was correct or not and how they are going to react to it. But yes, not wasting any time. The team reached there. The security has been increased. Also, the diversion has been made so that any public, movement could not be there at the Kalidas Marg. So that is one thing. But yes, it remains to be seen what officials have to say as far as, the validity of this information is concerned. But as I said, making it a very important, point. The force has reached there, the anti-bomb squad is there, and they are trying to check the situation if there is anything which could be a thing to suspect as far as information is concerned.
Okay, quickly wanted to summarize for you what's happening. These are images from right outside UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath's residence in Lucknow, the state capital of Uttar Pradesh. There's been a bomb scare right outside the residence. The bomb squad has been deployed on site. You can see a lot of security which is anyway deployed there outside the Chief Minister's residence as a VIP protectee. But the bomb squad is currently ascertaining whether there is really a threat or whether it is another hoax call. Abhishek, have there been bomb threats or threats of this nature pointed at Yogi Adityanath before? I'm sure this is not the first time.
Well, certainly it's for the first time that such information has come. And as I said earlier also, that, Yogi Adityanath maintains a very tight security protocol. There is never a chance when there is a loophole in the security, be at any public event or, the election campaign, or also as far as his residence is concerned, they have a full layer of security. So that is something which has never happened. But because of this information coming and afterward, how the police headquarters and the top officials have reacted to it is only the reason because they don't want to take any sort of chance as far as security is concerned. And that is the only reason that the security has been increased and there is a strict vigilance as far as this whole area is concerned. But it remains to be seen, as I said. But not wasting any moment, the officials has reacted, the security has been increased, and that is the only reason that such an exercise has been conducted there. And it remains to be seen whether or not is there any clarifications to it. Although the Lucknow DCP Central has given the confirmation on this. But again, I said that after only all the security checks will be made, something substantially could be said whether or not it was misinformation or the kind of information which has been received, how valid is it and how they are going to go ahead with it. Yes.
Okay, so I just wanted to update our viewers. We're getting more information from Abhishek's team in Lucknow. We've been in touch with the police there and they are saying now that it is very likely that this was a hoax call because the bomb squad has not been able to find anything of any kind outside the Chief Minister's residence. They've done a full security sweep of all areas in a radius right outside the Chief Minister's residence and nothing has been traced of a suspicious or dangerous nature. And therefore, at this point of time, we can confirm to you that this was likely a hoax. We'll update that breaking in just a moment, but obviously no charges can be taken. Every time a hoax call comes in, all the protocols for safety, for checking, for sanitizing the area, the bomb squad being deployed, the police being deployed, a cordon and search operation taking place, all of that needs to happen on cue without any exception. So at this time, it appears the police is confirming that it was a hoax, but they had to go through the entire routine, as you can see, to make sure, because all it takes is one little error every time there is a bomb threat call received by the security forces. Remember, terror groups do this quite often in order to test the response times of India's security officials as well. We'll keep you posted. Thankfully, this was only a hoax, but that doesn't mean the threat is over. Very quick break here on the news. Coming up next, is Imran Khan's arrest just around the corner? It looks like it. A heavy contingent of police has reached Zaman Park outside former Prime Minister Imran Khan's residence. He's facing a lot of legal trouble and is a hunted man since his ouster from power. Are they going to jail Imran Khan is the question.
जैसे सबसे तेज आपकी टैगलाइन है, तो इसी तरह से सबसे तेज हमारी सरकार की लाइफलाइन है.
Leader must have a vision.
We will continue to work with the developing and the developed world for win-win solutions.
Nature had of course willed the survival of the fittest.
हम आतंकवाद के खिलाफ जीरो टॉलरेंस की पॉलिसी को अपनाए हुए हैं.
एक साल के अंदर राहुल कन्वर की कार जो होगी वो इलेक्ट्रिक की होगी.
There is a confrontation of competing visions.
It's been more than a week, but rescue efforts continue in quake-hit Turkey. From under the rubble in Adiyaman, a 77-year-old woman was rescued 212 hours after a 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck Turkey and Syria. Fatma Gungor had been under the wreckage when the rescue team pulled her out. This 42-year-old woman was rescued 222 hours after being buried in the rubble of a building that collapsed in a devastating earthquake in Kahramanmaras. After 203 hours, this woman was rescued from the rubble of a building in the southern Turkish city of Hatay. International rescue teams, along with locals, have not given up hope, and they are still on their toes to rescue every life from under the rubble.
We arrived here in Hatay on Saturday, and since then we have not stopped seeing how there are people who are being rescued alive every day. So we think there's still a chance there are people below the rubble, and we should keep looking.
Not only human life, even pets are precious, like this furry best friend of a family that lost its home in the earthquake. The combined death toll in Turkey and Syria has crossed 41,000. UN authorities have said the focus of the aid effort has now shifted to helping people struggling without shelter or enough food in the bitter cold. But rescuers are still pulling survivors out more than a week after the quake hit. Bureau Report, India Today.
A shocking murder of a soldier by a DMK councillor at Tamil Nadu's Krishnagiri. The soldier, Prabhu, battered to death by the DMK Nita Chinnaswamy and his henchman over washing clothes at a public water tap. While the DMK Nita was arrested along with other accused, the ruling DMK has decided to brazen it out, backing the killer Nita 8 days after the gruesome crime.
This is happening everywhere. Yesterday in Uttar Pradesh there was a clash and a mother and daughter died. So everywhere it's happening. These are all small things. If DMK man is involved, we have already taken action against many men who were involved in criminal activities. The same will apply to anybody.
There has been no DMK outreach for the bereaved family. The slain soldier leaves behind his wife and two very young kids. While one of the children is 3 years old, the other is just 4 months old.
எங்க வீட்டுக்காரனே போயிட்டான். இதுக்கப்புறம் நான் என்ன சார் சொல்றது? என் 2 குழந்தை அப்பா எங்கன்னு நான் என்ன பதில் சொல்லுவேன்? அவங்களும் அப்படி இருக்கிறாங்க. திடீர்னு ஏதாவது ஆச்சுன்னா எங்க நிலைமை என்ன ஆகும்? இந்த குழந்தை அப்பா நான் என்ன பதில் சொல்லுவேன்? அப்பா அங்க இருக்காரு பாரு நான் சொல்ல முடியுமா? அவருக்கு இந்த வயசுல அந்த ரோஜா பூ மாலை தேவையா?
भाई आया एक ही बार उसको पीछे मारा था, वो उधर ही गिरने के बाद भी पूरे लोग मार रहे थे उसको। चाकू में यहाँ पे मारा, भाई को भी यहाँ पे मारा, पीछे मारा पूरा। उसने आज नहीं है, मर गया। इनको सजा चाहिए, उनको पूरे को सजा चाहिए।
Angry army personnel showed solidarity with the family.
हम तो पहले ही बोला है, नॉर्मली वो एफआईआर बनाया है। एफआईआर में जो अभी एक्ट डाला है उससे अभी तुरंत करने के लिए, गुंडास में अरेस्ट करने के लिए हम जबरदस्त किया है कि पुलिस डीजीपी से।
But the local police appeared too eager to pass off the brutal murder as a family dispute.
It was an assault case between close blood relatives over a petty dispute. And I repeat, it has absolutely no political angle.
The opposition BJP is on a war path, saying that such attacks on men in uniform is hushed up under the DMK rule.
Any uniformed man doesn't get any respect with the DMK party as a whole. So this is nothing new for the people of Tamil Nadu. They are very brazen, they are very open, they are very vicious.
Is this the Dravidian model that the DMK so passionately espouse? And what will it take for Chief Minister Stalin to break silence? With Pramod Madhav in Krishnagiri, Bureau Report, India Today.
Why is DK Shivakumar, the Congress state president of Karnataka, wearing flowers in his ears while attending the budget session of the Karnataka Assembly? The Karnataka Congress leaders are staging this very unique protest, and I'm going to show you those pictures in the Assembly during the presentation of the state budget by the Bombay government, the last one before the upcoming election. Siddaramaiah, DK Shivakumar, they're all wearing flowers in their ears. What's going on with that? Siddaramaiah and other Congress leaders came to the assembly dressed in that manner, flowers in their ears, alleging that the BJP government has cheated people and made them fools by not fulfilling promises from the previous budget. Even before the Chief Minister began the Karnataka budget presentation, an argument broke out in the assembly between the BJP and the Congress. Flowers in your ears is a very well-known local metaphor of being made a fool of. Following a brief showdown in the assembly, Chief Minister Bommai went on to present the budget. Chief Minister Bommai has granted 1,000 crores for the development of temples and mutts in the next 2 years. The BJP government has also announced the construction of a Ram Mandir in Ramnagara district. Chief Minister Bommai also announced funds to tackle traffic, floods and improve infrastructure in the city of Bengaluru.
ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವರು ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದು ಸರಿ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ಭಾವನೆ. ನಾನು ಅದು ಅವರ ಇಚ್ಛೆ, ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನೇನು ಮಾತನಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಹೇಳಿ ಬಯಸ್ತೇನೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ದಿವಸ ಅವರು ಜನರಿಗೆ ಕಿವಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೂ ಇಡ್ತಿದ್ರು, ಈಗ ಜನ ಅವರು ಕಿವಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೂ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮುಂದಿನ ಸಲನೂ ಅವ್ರ ಕಿವಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೂ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ.
ಕೊನೆಗೆ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಇಡೀ ರಾಜ್ಯದ 700 ಕೋಟಿ
ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
7 ಕೋಟಿ ಜನರ ಕಿವಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೂ ಇಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಬಜೆಟ್.
ಅವರೇ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಓದ್ತಾ ಇರೋರು. Raj joining me live from Bengaluru. Sagai, before we get into the details of this entire flashpoint in the Vidhan Sabha, the flowers in their ears, explain it to our viewers who may not fully understand what the symbolism is of wearing flowers on your ears. What does that imply?
So there is a belief in Karnataka, the Shivarud, where if you're trying to fool around with someone, you are just trying to keep a flower on their ears. So if you're trying to fool someone, you just keep a flower on their ears and say that you're a fool. So that's what they were trying to do, a symbolic protest inside the assembly, stating that the budget what you're going to present is just going to fool around the people, because this cannot be implemented, because they have very less time, less than 1 month of time, and they will not have time to even implement and allocate these kind of funds. So this budget is of no use. So this is what the message the Congress want to send across to the people.
Okay, Sagai, thank you very much for getting us the latest on that. We'll get into the details of the budget, in the hours ahead here on Prime Time, because it's important. It's the last big, session before the elections coming up in April and May this year. Now, coming up after this very short break, shifting focus from Karnataka to Pakistan, where former Prime Minister Imran Khan could be arrested very, very soon. And we'll tell you why we're saying that when you come back. Pakistanis forced to fight for roti, skyrocketing prices of milk, fuel and wheat. The Shehbaz Sharif Sarkar throwing tax bombs under the International Monetary Fund's glare. The bankrupt country facing nearly 33% inflation. Former Prime Minister and the biggest opposition leader Imran Khan facing a jail threat. His followers threatening massive clashes. Abuses openly being hurled at Imran Khan on live television.
रिस्पॉन्स मेरी तरफ क्यों नहीं लिया था भाई? 1 घंटे से मैं सुन रहा हूँ उनकी बकवास. ये सियासतदान है, ये सियासतदान है, ये इमरानडू है, इमरानडू. बात तो सुन ले भाई. इमरानडू है ये.
पीता है रोज ये कोकीन, जो है वो ये अपना जो है आइस पीता है, ये वो इसके ऊपर जो है वो डाली जा सकती है. लेकिन हम तो जो है वो उस हद तक हुकूमत जाने को तैयार नहीं है.
All hell breaking loose in Pakistan, a country struggling to make ends meet and facing a default on its payments. A litre of unpacked milk in Pakistan is now priced at a whopping 210 rupees, up from 190 rupees earlier. 1 kilogram of chicken now costs 780 rupees, up from 650 rupees per kg just last week. Boneless meat, which earlier cost 900 rupees per kilogram, is now 1100 rupees. Fuel too is burning a hole in every pocket. Petrol is 272 Pakistani rupees a litre and kerosene sells for 202 rupees. The price hike is under a strict IMF directive to make Pakistan eligible for a $1 billion bailout.
This mini budget and this whole price hike scenario and these taxes of 170 billion rupees, this was all expected because negotiations with IMF were going on, and we were expecting that this would happen. Ishaq Dar had announced this thing, the finance minister of Pakistan, he had announced this thing a few days ago that this will be happening.
Amidst the chaos, there's no end to political fighting amidst Pakistani netas, many of whom are hurling filthy abuses at each other on live news television.
ये सियासतदान है, ये सियासतदान है, ये इमरान है ये।
इस आदमी का सारा मामला जो है वो किसी से ढका छुपा है कोई?
A Pakistan minister openly dared Imran Khan to take a drug test.
नहीं, इसका ब्लड टेस्ट करवाएं चलें। अगर इसका ब्लड टेस्ट करवाएं, अगर ये कोकीन और जो है ये अपना आइस का ये एडिक्ट ना निकले तो आप जो है मैं इस्तीफा देने को तैयार हूं।
Pakistan is again in front of the world with a begging bowl, and its dubious track record of being a terror backer isn't helping at all. Bureau Report, India Today. Is former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan about to be arrested? Well, that sense has been simmering for the last many days and weeks, but things have now come to a climax. There have been dramatic scenes unfolding for the last 2-3 days outside the residence of Imran Khan after word spread that the Pakistan police planned to arrest the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf chief for not appearing before the Lahore High Court in another matter. Is his arrest imminent? Or is this just smoke and mirrors by the Shehbaz Sharif government that's been threatening to take action against him but hasn't bitten the bullet just yet? Take a look at this report.
High drama outside Imran Khan's Lahore residence. Police gathered outside the former Pakistan Prime Minister's house in large numbers on Friday. The cricketer turned politician's arrest looks imminent after his bail was cancelled by an anti-terrorism court this week. But even as the high contingent of police reached Zaman Park outside Imran's residence, hundreds of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party members collected in front of the former Prime Minister's house to prevent his arrest.
खान की तरफ अगर किसी ने नैरी नगर से देखा तुम्हारी आंख फोड़ दी जाएगी। इमरान खान की तरफ उठने वाला हर हाथ तोड़ दिया जाएगा। वो पाकिस्तान का लीडर है, पाकिस्तान का टीपू सुल्तान है।
Imran Khan was booked in a case last October after several protests erupted in Pakistan in response to a verdict announced by the Election Commission of Pakistan. He had been granted bail on medical grounds after he was injured in an alleged assassination attempt in Wazirabad during a rally in November last year. Judge Raja Jawad Abbas, while cancelling the bail, said that Imran Khan was given ample opportunity to appear before the anti-terrorism court.
Okay, we've got some breaking news coming in. The Income Tax Department, after 3 days of searches and surveys at the BBC offices in India, has just released a statement on the BBC searches. The IT department has put out an explosive statement. They say the BBC's profits are shown disproportionate to the scale of operations. They're talking about BBC. This is a huge, huge statement to make. They're saying profits disproportionate to the scale of operations. The Income Tax Department on the BBC searches also said tax not paid on money paid by foreign entities. So they found irregularities and violations and they've put out a formal statement on this. This is not sources viewer. This is the Income Tax Department formally issuing the statement. They've said tax not paid on certain remittances, money paid to seconded employees not disclosed as income tax, discrepancies in transfer pricing documentation. So they've taken a fine-toothed comb and gone through the financial operations of the BBC here in India, and they say that the profits are disproportionate to the scale of operations and that there are various other irregularities, including tax not paid on certain remittances as well as transfer pricing documentation violations, discrepancies there. Let's go across to India Today's Munish Pandey, who's breaking this big story first and exclusive here on India Today. Munish, significant comments given that this is a formal statement coming in from the Income Tax Department.
Well, Shiv, this is an official statement from the Income Tax Department regarding this survey which was conducted on the BBC premises in Mumbai and Delhi. But as far as this statement is concerned, there are huge allegations leveled against BBC. Now, according to the statement which has been released by the Income Tax Department, what they are claiming that BBC is a company which is not only operating in India in English or Hindi, but also they are they are the group which is engaged in business of development of content in various Indian languages, advertisements, market support services. But the survey has revealed that these contents are being created which is getting profit to BBC, but they are not reflecting the same amount to evade taxes. This becomes very serious allegations as far as the operations of BBC are concerned, because remember, earlier also there have been at least 6 to 7 times when the Income Tax Department had issued notice to the BBC saying that when you are earning the profit, why are you not giving the legal taxes? But at that point of time, these notices were challenged before the court. But now what the Income Tax Department is claiming that they have found evidence to reflect that even after generating huge amount of profit, they were transferring the profit in their subsidiaries and other entities, but it was not being shown in the books of account. It becomes very significant and serious as far as BBC is concerned.
What action will be taken next now? They've said all these things, Munish. What nature of action will be taken next?
Yeah, well, Shiv, this becomes extremely important. This question becomes extremely important because right now, what the Income Tax Department has done is they have carried out survey and they have impounded documents in thousands of pages. Now they are going one by one through all the documents and articles which were collected from these premises. These were impounded. Now, I spoke to one officer of Income Tax Department this afternoon, and what he told me that after studying all the documents, they will find out the illegalities which has been done by the BBC allegedly. Now, in the next assessment year, for example, if there is a tax evasion, in the next assessment year, the Income Tax Department will ask the BBC to, they will penalize BBC and they will also ask them to give those taxes. Apart from that, if there is a transfer of some amount of money, remittances, then this will also violate certain laws of India, because if there is an exchange of money between one country to another country, India to UK, then there are other laws which they have allegedly violated. So all these things will be taken care by the Income Tax Department one by one. As of now, we have been given to understand is that next assessment year is going to be important because Income Tax Department may penalize BBC, but apart from that, there are other illegalities regarding which the Income Tax Department may file a separate case, and based on which the other agencies of the country, for example, the Enforcement Directorate, SFIO or the Central Bureau of Investigation, they can also take up this case.
One final question, Munish, to you. It becomes very important what follow-up action will be taken here. Is there a possibility of more searches? Could there be summons for questioning, to the leadership of the BBC here in India? Could other agencies get involved? Are those all possibilities?
There is a huge possibility issue. And why I am saying this, because in survey, you are not allowed to seize any document or article or even the phone or the hard disk. But if there is any evidence, then the search operation can be carried out. Now, I spoke to the officer. What he told me that if they get hold of any evidence of illegality, financial irregularity done by the BBC officials in India, then they will be within their rights to carry out searches again in the BBC premises. But it will take some time, because I have been given to understand is that there are several documents which they are yet to read, and after reading those documents, a team of tax officers will sit down. They will find out the illegality, what laws have been violated, and accordingly separate cases will be filed. These documents will also be forwarded to different financial probe agencies of the country, and after that the next action will be taken. But as far as BBC is concerned, they had issued a statement saying that they will cooperate with the investigative agencies. But as far as the allegations are concerned, it becomes very serious, because financial irregularities are something which attracts multiple laws and multiple financial probe agencies in the country. Income tax is the first one, because they have the power to conduct survey. But now, when there is evidence what the income tax is claiming, they may conduct searches also very soon.
Okay, Munish, thanks very much for making sense of this development for us. A big statement from the Income Tax Department on the searches, 3-day searches on the BBC. And finally, one of the world's biggest and most beloved action stars, Bruce Willis, has very sadly been diagnosed with a neurological disorder that is progressive and has rendered him almost completely incommunicative and with dementia. The 67-year-old actor, who's had an illustrious career, best known for the Die Hard movies, was already suffering from aphasia, which causes difficulties with speech. The statement released by his family and his ex-wife, Demi Moore, said that the actor has been diagnosed with a type of dementia called frontotemporal dementia. Take a look at this report by India Today's Sneha Murdani.
Bruce Willis, a man known and loved by all as the ultimate action hero, forced to retire less than a year ago owing to a cognitive disorder called aphasia, a communicative disorder. His condition, much to the dismay of his fans worldwide, has now been diagnosed as frontotemporal dementia. The 67-year-old US actor, known for his role in the Die Hard franchise, stepped away from Hollywood in March. His family has now issued a statement saying that the disease is incurable and that Bruce Willis's condition has worsened.
Thanks for the advice.
As per FDA, there is no cure for frontotemporal dementias, but simultaneously certain medications are used, especially in the cases where patients have got significant behavioral abnormalities.
Since we announced Bruce's diagnosis of aphasia in spring 2022, Bruce's condition has progressed and we now have a more specific diagnosis, frontotemporal dementia.
Frontotemporal dementia, or FTD, is an umbrella term for disorders affecting the areas of the brain that deal with personality, behavior and language. Challenges with communication are just one challenge, and there is no treatment for this disease, is what experts say.
This is basically a progressive disorder. The patients will worsen, the symptoms might worsen in future, and because there is a persistent degeneration happening in the frontal and the temporal lobe of the brain. So basically frontal lobe is being involved with the behavioral function as well as the language dysfunction, and simultaneously with the temporal dysfunction patients will be having memory deficits as well, and the condition will progress in future and the patients might deteriorate further.
The unfortunate bit, the disease makes the patient socially inappropriate.
Some common symptoms of frontotemporal dementia include changes in personality, people becoming more impulsive, them losing the essence of empathy or kindness, so they can be very rude, they can be very abrupt, they may not even recognize their loved ones, and that is because of the part of the brain involved. They lose their executive functioning, that is, they may not be good at calculations anymore for somebody who was maybe an expert, and now you'll see that they're not able to do those kind of things.
The most common signs of frontotemporal dementia involve extreme changes in behavior and personality, like increasingly inappropriate social behavior, a loss of empathy and sensitivity to another's feelings, a clear lack of judgment, loss of inhibition, a clear lack of interest as well.
Also, there will be a repetitive compulsive behavior and a decline in personal hygiene. Frontotemporal dementia often begins between the ages of 40 and 65, but occurs later in life as well. FTD is the cause of approximately 10 to 20% of dementia cases. What about the prevalence? The disease represents an estimated 10 to 20% of all dementia cases. The most common kind continues to be Alzheimer's in India and outside. In a clinic-based study from South India, FTD at 18.7% was found to be one of the major causes of primary dementias. Alzheimer's, whereas, is at 38.3% and vascular dementia at 25.4%. There's a worldwide effort to try to fight back against diseases of this nature and make progress toward their earlier diagnosis and toward their better treatment. Stigma is another battle altogether. Bruce Willis's condition has put the spotlight on this lesser-known ailment. In New Delhi, Sneha Murdani for India Today.
Oh, that's it on 5 Live, when we really wish Bruce Willis better health going forward. He's got millions of fans all over the world, and certainly here in India. Many of us grew up watching those die-hard movies. That's a wrap on 5 Live. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you at the same time next week. 6 p.m. Prime with Akshita comes up next. A horrific story from the northern part of the country. 2 Muslim men abducted from Rajasthan, found burnt alive in Haryana over suspected cow smuggling. That blood-curdling story is the spotlight focus on 6 p.m. Prime next.
Far few national channels, unfortunately, are talking about this. But it's extremely concerning that 24 tigers have died in a matter of 39 days or so. Now, while these are not really connected, Dr. Anish, there is a concern because in some of these cases, it's been because of poor tracking, because of the forest department being unaware. Some of these tiger carcasses have been found days later.
Yes, I think if you go by statistics, last year about 138 tigers died in the entire year. And if you go by the rate that we see now, which means 24 to 26 tigers dead in just 38 days, if you multiply it and if you kind of extrapolate it to the year, we could lose about 240 tigers, which is more than 100 tigers more than what we lost last time. Okay. So definitely, as of now, if you look at just this first 38 days, it is a matter of concern. However, one must understand that India is one country, but the states are managing their forests and the tiger in their own different ways, which means that the Madhya Pradesh, the Maharashtra and Karnataka, these 3 states are, in my mind, and also Uttarakhand, these 4 states are the true tiger states where a lot of government programs are being dished out so that communities and tigers can coexist. There is good amount of protection inside the tiger reserves. The populations have gone up and soon, and obviously the tigers are spilling over. There are a lot of tigers along corridors as well in both Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. Exactly. And so there you can understand, if you're looking at Maharashtra, as per the last year's figures, there are more than 350 to 360 tigers, of which more than 150 tigers are outside. And so they are within stone's throw of a human habitation, and so the risk to the tiger is extremely high. This is not a secret, everybody knows that, and which means that the department has to be on its toes throughout the year.
By Hyundai Ioniq 5, the all-electric SUV. Co-powered by घर लेना हो या बेचना, 99 acres से ही पूछना. Co-powered by Aditya Birla Capital.
Abducted, tortured, and torched alive. Nothing but skeletons left in the burnt SUV. Brutal killings in Haryana. 2 men torched for alleged cow smuggling. Cow vigilantism horror in Haryana is our top focus on 6 p.m. Prime. Good evening. You're watching 6 p.m. Prime here on India Today. I'm Akshita Nandagopal, and this evening we're focusing on a horrifying story that's come in from Haryana of 2 men who were tortured, who were tied inside a car and then set ablaze. Why? Because they faced charges of cow smuggling. This is a story, unfortunately, that we're far too familiar with in the country, with multiple incidents of lynchings that have been reported, again linked to cow smuggling. We're going to be talking about this latest case. The headlines first. After Congress distances itself from Soros, new link emerges. Soros NGO VP Salil Shetty walked with Rahul Gandhi in the Bharat Jodo Yatra in October 2022. Income Tax Department's damning charges against the BBC after 3 days of searches. British broadcaster accused of disproportionate profits and evading tax on certain remittances. Big win for AAP as Supreme Court issues order on delayed mayoral polls. Notice with date for election to be issued in 24 hours. Kejriwal calls it a victory of democracy. Adani hearing in Supreme Court. Order reserved after top court says it wants full transparency. Centre sealed cover suggesting names for panel to strengthen measures. Rejected as top court says don't give us a sealed cover. Karnataka Congress leaders hold unique protest during budget presentation. Congress Netas wear flowers in their ears to accuse government of fooling people. Heartbreaking news. Hollywood star Bruce Willis has been diagnosed with dementia. Condition affects the frontal and temporal lobes of the brain. Horrifying incident that's come to light in the Loharu area of Bhiwani district, where 2 men were abducted, tortured, and then set on fire inside a car. The situation so bad, those are the remnants of the SUV in which only 2 skeletons were found. Now, there are questions about whether this is the doing of Gaur Rakshaks. The family has alleged that a leader of Bajrang Dal is the mastermind, the one who orchestrated this abduction and killing soon after. He is on the run. An FIR has been registered based on the complaint of the family members. 5 people have been named. Only 1 has been arrested. Abducted, tortured, and burnt alive. 2 Muslim men were allegedly abducted from Rajasthan and killed in Haryana over suspicion of cow smuggling. Their bodies were found in Bhiwani inside a charred bolero which they were travelling in when last seen. The victims, Junaid, alias Juna, and Nasir, residents of Ghatmika village in Rajasthan's Bharatpur district, were allegedly abducted on Wednesday.
These men were picked up from Bharatpur area in Gopalgarh, and this is where the crime scene has been committed at least 300 kilometers away. So it's been a well-planned strategy. Now, there have been names in the FIR, at least 8 to 10 people who were identified, and at least 5 of them have been named are from the Bajrang Dal. But whether they have an alibi, whether there is a clear connection, this is all a matter of investigation. गाड़ी देखी थी पर चलते हुए कंकाल भी तो अंदर थे
कंकाल चलते हुए दर्द नहीं रहे थे उस टाइम गाड़ी बुझी हुई थी उस टाइम
बुझी हुई थी तो उसके बाद पुलिस कब हरकत में आई क्या हुआ
पुलिस को 112 में कॉल किया गया पुलिस आई है लगभग 8 बजे पुलिस आई पहले पीसीआर आई है उसके बाद सचो आया उसके बाद डीएसपी आए उसके बाद फॉरेंसिक लैब की टीम आई है और फिर सारी दिन कार्रवाई चली उसमें
Police say one of the victims, Junaid, the 35-year-old, had a criminal history involving cases of cow smuggling. The second victim, 25-year-old Nasir, had a clean record.
जो 2 लड़के जिनका अपहरण हुआ उनमें एक का नाम जुनैद है और एक का नाम नासिर है। नासिर का कोई रिकॉर्ड नहीं है। जुनैद के खिलाफ 5 प्रकरण गौ तस्करी के पूर्व में दर्ज हैं।
The families of the victims are blaming a group of Gorakshaks and leaders of the Bajrang Dal for the murder. 5 suspects are named in the FIR filed based on the family's complaint. One of them has been arrested. The families have named Monu Manesar as the mastermind.
हम सरकार से और पुलिस प्रशासन से अपील करते हैं कि हमारे जो दोनों भाई थे इनको न्याय मिलना चाहिए और जो दोषी हैं उन सबको कड़ी से कड़ी सजा मिलनी चाहिए।
A Bajrang Dal member and face of the Cow Protection Task Force of the Haryana government, Monu Manesar has a gold button on YouTube with over 2 lakh subscribers. He, speaking to India Today, denied the charges against him.
तो जुनैद और उनको मैं जानता ही नहीं हूँ और उनसे हमारा कोई लेना देना नहीं है, ना मैं उनको जानता और ना इस घटना को मेरे बारे में पता ही चला। उस घटना से हमारा कोई लेना देना नहीं है।
Monu claims he was not in Bhiwani on the day of the incident. He claims CCTV footage from the day placed him in Gurugram with his friends. Monu Manesar has been absconding after a viral video showed him firing several rounds from a pistol in Haryana's Pataudi, where clashes were reported between 2 groups last week. The alleged murder has sparked a political slugfest.
मैं अपने तरफ से, अपनी पार्टी की तरफ से जुनैद और नासिर के जो हत्या की गई उसको स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट वर्ड्स में कंडेम करता हूं और पूछना चाहता हूं बीजेपी से, प्रधानमंत्री से कि भाई आप इस पर कुछ बोलेंगे नहीं बोलेंगे या फिर इन लोगों को अपनी छत्रछाया में रखकर इनको पालते रहेंगे, इन सांपों को। हरियाणा और बीजेपी की सरकार इनका प्रोटेक्शन कर रही है, इस तरह के लोगों को। हर जगह पर इनका एक ऑर्गेनाइज गैंग है और यही गैंग हर तरफ एक आतंक मचा हुआ है, कानून को अपने हाथ में ले लेता है।
असदुद्दीन ओवैसी आज ट्वीट करता है कि उन पर कार्रवाई हो जिसने ये कांड किया। आज मैं असदुद्दीन ओवैसी से ये पूछना चाहूंगा कि तुम्हारे पार्लियामेंट क्षेत्र में जो तुमने इनलीगल स्लैटर हाउस खुलवाकर जो तेलंगाना का जो हिंदू विरोधी जो मुख्यमंत्री है उससे तुम सहायता लेकर गाय को, बछड़े को, जो खेती के लिए काम आने वाले अच्छे बैलों को कटवा कर जो तुम इनलीगल रूप से जो एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हो, तुम्हारे साथ क्या अंजाम किया जाए।
Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot is also facing criticism from his own party over the murder.
पुलिस को इसकी जांच करनी चाहिए। जांच के दौरान जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन में तथ्य सामने आते हैं उसके आधार पर कार्रवाई करनी चाहिए, लेकिन सिर्फ और सिर्फ जांच को भ्रमित करने के लिए किसी व्यक्ति विशेष के ऊपर, किसी संगठन के ऊपर मिथ्या आरोप लगाएं, ये भी अनुचित है। जिन्होंने भी गुनाह किए हैं वो कानून के दायरे के अंदर उन्हें सजा दें।
The police are collecting forensic and DNA evidence to confirm that the victims are Junaid and Nasir. The investigation will also determine if they were murdered by cow vigilantes. With Kamaljeet Sandhu, Bureau Report, India Today. Kamaljeet Sandhu, who's been tracking the latest updates on the story, is joining us live from Bhiwani. This particular incident, Kamaljeet, has obviously shocked everyone. There are a lot of questions right now of how the police is going about this investigation. You look at the main accused, for example, Monu Manesar, as he's popularly called. He's someone who's extremely influential in the area. He's been absconding and looks like the cops have no clue where he is. Only one arrest so far in this case.
Well, absolutely. This particularly dastardly incident has not only shocked states of Rajasthan and Haryana, but the entire country. And now we know that there are incidents of cow vigilantism which has been on the rise. But here, Monu Manesar, as he's called, has been just speaking to media from one to the other to the other. So he seems to be at large and yet boldly kind of coming out and giving out statements. If he's that clean as he's stating it to be, why doesn't he surrender before the law of the land? So this is where things really stand. At least 5 of the 10 accused who've been named in the FIR belong to Bajrang Dal. They've been actually saying that they have evidence to prove, there's CCTV to prove that they were not there, so an alibi there. But you know, the arrest has been made, at least one of them, and that could actually lead to a chain. But here is a family who's making allegations against Bajrang Dal, who's been denying it all along, saying they've been only named as a setup. because they've been acting against the cow smugglers. But here is an incident where there have been two skeletons charred, two Muslim youth have been charred to death, especially in the area of Bhiwani. So the crime has taken 300 kilometers away in a place in Bharatpur. So this is where the difference really lies. So there are two incidents. One which has taken place in Bharatpur, where abduction and beating up has taken place. The bodies have been found 300 kilometers away in Haryana. Now Rajasthan police is the one which is investigating, but questions have been raised. Why was there a delay in lodging of the FIR? If the incident happened on the 15th, why 16th morning at 6 o'clock was the FIR registered? Second, when we're talking about even Haryana police, there are question marks being raised regarding Firozpur Firki. There are a lot of people saying that this is where the men had gone in first. However, Haryana police pushed them away, and after which the bodies were recovered. So investigation has to be done at the top level, the highest level, and obviously
we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about these lapses more. Kamalji, just stay with me. The problem here is that these Gaur Rakshaks are extremely powerful. They have local clout as well, besides knowing all of the netas in their district. Look at this particular case, and I want to highlight for you how in the last few years there have been several incidents of mob lynchings, of cow lynchings that have been reported. These are cow smugglers allegedly. The latest cases of Junaid and Nasir, out of which only one of them had about 5 cases of cow smuggling. The other had no cases of cow smuggling and yet was torched alive. The second case that I want to highlight is one that happened in 2017, the Alwar mob lynching case, the attack and murder of Pehlu Khan. I'm sure you remember it very well. He was a dairy farmer from Noor district of Haryana, allegedly beaten to death by a group of 200 cow vigilantes. Then Mohammad Akhlaq. This happened in 2015, Dadri in Uttar Pradesh. Again, a case of lynching in which a mob of villagers attacked the home of the 52-year-old Mohammad Akhlaq, killed him over the suspicion that he slaughtered a cow. Then there's an incident that happened in May 2022 of 2 tribals being lynched in Madhya Pradesh's Sioni on the suspicion, again, of cow slaughter. The 2 tribal men were lynched by a mob of villagers on the suspicion in Sioni district on May 4th, 2022. They were attacked by a group of 15 to 20 people. So this is unfortunately something that we've been seeing on the rise in the country. In this case, 2 men have been torched to death, burnt, in fact, in an SUV where they were tied up. And now there are obviously questions of why it's taking so long for the authorities to really crack down and take the 5 people who've been accused in this case. All of them absconding. The cops are hunting right now, groping in the dark for some leads. I want to round up for you all the updates that have come in this case. So Junaid and Nasir killed, allegedly abducted from, in fact, their homes in Rajasthan's Bharatpur district and then taken to Haryana, and their bodies were found in Haryana's Bhiwani. Victim Junaid had 5 cases of cow vigilantism against him. Victim Nasir had no criminal cases against him. An FIR under several sections, including abduction and murder, has been registered against Monu, who is right now the main accused. He's been identified by a relative of the 2 victims. FIR says the duo were in a Bolero. The engine registration number of the car matches with a Bolero car found in Bhiwani. On the other hand, Monu has denied all these charges. So who exactly is Monu Manisar? He's a Bajrang Dal member, face of the Cow Protection Task Force of the Haryana government. He's been on the run, but giving one media interaction, one media bite after another from wherever he is. Here's a video from February 6th where main accused Monu Manisar can be seen opening fire in Gurugram. The accused was in fact firing over a parking dispute. He's wanted in that case, and amid that allegedly committed this crime. Let's give you more details about who exactly this Monu Manisar is. Why is it that we say he's influential? Why is it that we're questioning the cops at this case and whether they're trying to shield Monu Manesar. His name actually is Mohit Yadav. He's popularly known as Monu and Monu Manesar because he's influential in Manesar. He runs a YouTube page. It's called Monu Manesar Bajrang Dal, in which he has over 2 lakh subscribers on YouTube. Largely, if you look at the content he puts out on YouTube, it's about Gaur Rakshak. It's about how he feels about cow protection. He was even given a silver play button by YouTube. That's essentially an award that YouTube gives when you have so many subscribers, over 2 lakh subscribers. And so he was given this silver play button by YouTube. Let's get you the other pointers as well on exactly who Monu is. So beyond that, the reason he's shot to fame on YouTube is one, because of his Gaur Rakshak videos, and the other is because he is a part of the Bajrang Dal. He officially joined the right-wing group, the Bajrang Dal, in 2011. He is the face of, in fact, the Cow Protection Task Force of the Haryana government. He's also a member of the civil defense team of Manesar. So you see how he has several of, in fact, these tags. And it's not the first time that he's caused trouble. He has cases against him. He importantly led a boycott campaign against Muslim vendors. So you know exactly what his biases are. He's wanted also in other cow vigilantism cases, some of which have suspiciously dropped off, others which are pending at different stages. But clearly this man walks free despite those cases and despite the extremely serious allegation against him. Now, I want to take this back across to Kamaljit Sandhu on this very point of where Monu Manesar is. Kamaljit, in your conversation with the police about this accused, he's been named as the main accused by the family members here. There are some who are saying that, you know, he was seen in the same car as well. So there's no question of him having no role whatsoever. But why are the cops struggling right now to get any leads on this man?
Well, this seems to be a shocking state of affairs because despite being a wanted man, continuing to speak to media houses. And, you know, remember at this point of time where cell phone data is not very difficult to get for a police, for an accused, this man seems to be speaking by and large to every media organization. So this is where things really stand as of now. But yes, what he's also stating is that he's not the one at fault, that he's being deliberately named in the FIR because of his work done as a somebody who's done good work for cow protection. But having said that, the accused, the victim's family has definitely named 8 to 10 people who were part of the crime, saying and identifying at least 5 of them. Monu Manesar is definitely on the list. He's wanted. The fact that Haryana police as well as Punjab police, and as far as crime is concerned, he's not somebody who's new to it. There is video evidence which suggests that just on Feb 9th, he was brandishing a gun in the parking lot. So there goes to show that this is a man who seems to be confident, just speaking about everywhere, thinking that he's not going to be caught.
He believes he can take law into his own hands. Nothing will happen. But he's right in that sense because he's not been arrested. He's been absconding. He's been speaking to the media. He's spoken to us on a video call. But despite that, refuses to disclose exactly where he is, says he's innocent. If he's innocent, he should prove his innocence. And for that, he needs to come out of hiding. Kamaljit, thanks for joining us with all of those details. I just want to put out for you the versions that are coming to the fore right now in this case. The family is maintaining that